Another iron fitting, and is one that has got a lot of history in it. Let's check out what this next iron fitting is going to be. Welcome back to the Golf Shop. Jim McCleary here, and this is where we talk about golf club repairs, golf club reviews, and golf club fittings. Also, your scores can go low. If you would, like, subscribe, hit some of that stuff across the bottom, bells, whistles, whatever that might be. That way, more word of this channel gets out. Also, we have live streams that happen at 17:30, 5:30 Eastern Time, and we talk about the same stuff. It's live, it's back and forth. It's a good time. Check it out. All right, iron, what are we testing? We are testing the Wilson Dynapwr. Probably not going to look real good right there. Let's see if we can make it fit. There we go. Dynapwr. All right, so the Dynapwr brand, or the Dynapwr model, reaches back into the 50s, okay? And it was a new model, and if you look, it was in the era of the butter knives. Had a much different shape back in the day, had its own little bore through, and to the point it was so cool that Neil Armstrong took it, and that was the club that he hit off of the moon. So yeah, it's got a lot of history. Now, we haven't seen Dynapwr in a while, and they decided to bring it back and put it into its irons, woods, hybrids, hey, you name it, it's got a name for it. Now, what's the difference? Well, this club is a monster cavity back versus the blade. Now, everything back in that era pretty much was a blade. There wasn't too much to talk about in the way of cavity backs. So, to the future we come, and now we have this guy. This is the next model upgrade from the Wilson D9, which did pretty good. Now, what is this for? This is a very strong lofted club, all right? It's got a 24-degree 6-iron in it. That's a lot of loft for being strong, or should it be? That's not very much loft for being strong. Now, how do you counteract that? You counteract that by putting a lot of weight across the bottom. And when you put a lot of weight across the bottom, it allows you to get underneath the ball, and it sends the ball into the air. But with less loft, you create this ball speed. Now, this golf club is made with, in the 4 through the 8, has a 17-4 stainless steel face on it. That is a forged stamp process, meaning they forge out a certain shape, and then you stamp it to the rest of the way, and you get what you want, and then they weld it back into here. Now, when you typically weld a face in, you typically weld it, and it creates this little ring around the outside, and it shrinks your ability to have a really nice forgiving area. That's not what's happening here. In this particular instance, the welds are happening on the top and around the sides so that you can still get that larger, we'll call it sweet spot, larger area for impact. And where most of this is at is out here. All right, it's out here on the toe. They've done their studies and found that 85% of golfers, when they miss forward of center or toe side. And so they have designed this guy in order to ensure that when it hits the preponderance of the misses. Okay? Now, they also have done some other things to make it a little bit more enjoyable for a lot more golfers, meaning that when you look down upon it, it's got a kind of a rounded or beveled top line, so it gives it this thinner appeal. So people that are looking for players like but want forgiveness could get it in this. Now, I looked at this, and it does have, I would say this is in that medium to high offset range. It's not a gross amount. The picture actually in the website gives it this tremendous amount of look on the offset category. I don't think it gets to that particular point. Okay. So they've also got, and Wilson has been really big with power holes. Power holes have been the slots that have been on the bottom of the club in order to allow the face to flex. Now, they've also turned to AI, and AI has done several thousand calculations to help them get the placement, the length, the width, and the distance between these to give them their maximum, we'll call it results from what they were looking for. And again, it's to get when you're out and you're a toe hitter, that this is going to react and not make you lose distance, okay? So here we go. It's a really long blade. It's got medium to large offset. It's got a really nice top line. It's extraordinarily strong, right? It's extraordinarily strong. They've also made the hosel area lighter, right? Lighter. And when you make this part lighter, it makes this part heavier, that seesaw kind of concept. Again, so that when you're out there on the toe, that it still goes, okay? It comes in a 4 through, a pitch, a gap, and a sand wedge. Now, because everything is stronger, the gap wedge is around 47 and the sand wedge is 53. So in reality, you could buy a full set of even 5 through sand wedge and then still go get a regular sand wedge, and you'd have a really nice set. So that's also something to consider. So when we talked about all this, they're using an old name to bring back the OG feel in Wilson. They've got a very forgiving golf club that goes for the majority of golfers that play golf. They've got a golf club that's designed to hit in where a majority of the golfers will hit the golf ball. And there's a lot of forgiveness with a wider sole, so even if you're a digger, you're not going to get stuck. And if for the preponderance of golfers that hit the fade or the slice with the offset, it'll help you out. So the reality of it is the only thing left to do is hit it, and let's find out if everything they said is true. So let's go do that. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do here today is I'm going to use the KBS PGI 90, which is I've been using in all the other iron tests, so that if you go back and look at them, you'll have a equal to equal kind of comparison instead of something out of the box. Now, the standard stuff is going to be in steel, the KBS Max Light, and then it'll have the recoil dart for graphite. They do have custom options, but I'm sure that comes at a price. So we got the 6 iron with the club. I've hit a handful of balls. We're going to use the Wilson Triad golf ball. The Wilson Triad golf ball is a sleeper, I think. And we're going to hit it, and we're going to see what happens. All right. Alrighty, here's we're talking about the Dynapwr 6 iron. Of course, it was the KBS PGI shaft that was in it, so that we're talking about all the rest. Now, we're going to go over some averages. These are averages. 181 to 188 average, and keep in mind this is a 6 iron and I am left-handed, swinging around just shy of 84 mile per hour and hitting this crazy high smash factor of 142 with a very low spin rate at the 6, and everything else looks to be a small draw, 7 yards, angle of attack very, very, very consistent. Now, let's go take a look at this real quick. So this is 15 shots, and we're going to narrow it down to 10 because you guys have seen this in the past. I like getting to anywhere between 5 and 10, and I got 15, and there was some warming up going on, so let's check it out. So this is how it's flying right there. Of course, everything to the inside, and that should be an expectation for a guy that doesn't flare it off to the outside very much, because this club does have a lot of offset. All right, now all of a sudden we look at our grouping. The grouping actually is very tight. I mean, even for, some lower ones right in here, but I mean, the grouping is very, very tight. So without looking at how or where they flew, we're going to take out a couple. We're going to take out this one, and we're going to take out that one and that one. I got to take out 2 more. So we got 177, 176s, 179. So let's take out that one, and then we will take out that one as well. I think we've got them all. Yep. Okay, now if we review our results, this is more closely related to what really was going on. So 184, 191, same thing, a super high smash factor, slightly higher RPM, closer to 4,000, but it's still, when we're talking about what we are hitting, it's not too bad. All right, 84 mile per hour, almost 85, and angles of attack are very, very good. Just to kind of give you guys an idea of what the club looked like, this was all the swing paths right there. And how is it working? As you can tell, the shaft was reacting very, very well. All right, if we go back to the grouping is much, much tighter now. Still to the inside, obviously, and in a pretty decent spot. So for now, if we look at this one, and we see how this one looks, how it takes off. Again, very, very tight, all in one same spot. Very, very easy to hit kind of setup, right? If we break it down into its individual shots, of course, 181 to 185. Then we get some 86 to 95s. There's some 90s to 200s, some 190s to 200s again. So, it can go. It just goes to show you I'm kind of all over the map. But if we look at this, the smash factor on this thing is extraordinarily high. The ball spin's coming off a little slow. Now the question is, does this look like a 6-iron that is hitting very low? To me, I'm thinking that's a pretty decent flight. The way that it's coming out of the air and it's landing, I'm kind of liking that. Just like a 6-iron would do, it's coming out at a flat and rolling up. So everything I'm seeing on this is actually pretty good. I was just wishing that it would be a little bit more of the truer loft, since it's on the left-handed side, and all this would be more closer to up here. All right, so all in all, I think this thing performed very, very well. The feel of a golf club is that it feels soft. It doesn't feel harsh like you would think maybe a cast club would feel like, or something this big. It does feel very forgiving. So from a feel aspect, I would say it's very pleasant. So let's see if we can't put these last remaining 5 into a good spot. Okay, so one thing we didn't really go over was, when I get these things, I measure them. And what I got from the right-handed model, this thing is dead solid on, perfect in every description. The head weight was there, the lie angle was there, the loft angle was there. However, in the left-handed model, this guy wasn't. To the point it was, the lie angle was there, the weight was there. However, the loft was almost 2 clubs weak. And we're talking about a cast club, and a cast club, even with a piece that is set into a body, is hard to bend that much. And I just couldn't get it all the way there. So, because this is a very, very, very strong 6-iron, and I just couldn't get it there. So it was off quite a bit. It was off so much that I ordered another one. And I ordered another one, and they were all exactly the same. So I think if you're a lefty and you're getting these things, you might want to have them measured and have them bent if they're off. However, the righties, have a day, okay? Have a day. Now, you saw how I tested it with the same shaft I've been testing all the other ones. Now, this thing has got to be one of the easiest golf clubs I've ever hit. Now, I expected to go a little bit further, but I didn't have all the loft on it that I needed, but I was still reaching 200 yards with a 6-iron. That's pretty good, at least really good for me. And I was thinking maybe 205, 210, with the fact that this thing is, I'm still half a club short, right? Half a club short. And so I think it could get out there. Now, who's this for? Well, this is for, somebody that has a ball that fades. This thing has a lot of offset. This is for somebody who takes a big divot, as the sole on this guy is very, very wide, and it will skid you out of the thing. Somebody that might be a big toe shot, that really hits the toe quite a bit, this longer face actually can help you get more towards the center, or if you're not, it's not nearly as penal. A golfer that is just getting started into golf, or somebody who is looking to get a lot of distance. That's a lot of check boxes, but that's where it goes, right? And hence the reason why you're seeing all this popularity for the Dynapwr line, because Wilson's truly hitting it out of the park when it comes to this lineup. It's going everywhere they said it was going to go. It's performing the way they want it to perform. and it's not busting your wallet. So if you're really looking for something, a new set of irons, you're getting started in golf, want a little bit more game improvement, want to hit it out there, this is the way to go. And if you have any questions, put them in the show notes below, and we'll get to them as much as we can. And don't forget about the live stream, like and subscribe. And always, as always, let's see your scores. Go low.